got a lot to talk about today. You got Cowboys versus Giants. And is this a must-win for the Cowboys? Is this the season on the line? Is this Mike McCarthy's job on the line?
Ooh, is he going to make it back on the plane?
Will he make it after halftime and the Cowboys are down? They're going to do him like they did old boy and say, no need. Leave the clipboard there. You're good.
Yeah, you can Uber home.
Yeah. And we also got something that came from a friend of the show here, Tony Ornelas. He shared something about DeMarcus Spears speaking about the Cowboys. Little clip.
Oh yeah, I saw that clip. It's a good clip.
Good clip. So we're
it's very similar to what I said, by the way.
I think it's similar to what we've been all saying. You know, it's like, at this point, does Jerry really want to win? Is it that important to him, or making money's important?
Hey, the spread for tonight's Cowboys-Giants game is moving. It's on the move.
Is it? Chat is on. We gotta check. I'm always paranoid with this YouTube, man. Yeah, we're good on YouTube. And we got some high school football to talk about today. Local area high school football. I did record a clip with our good friend, Brandon B. Damone, as he's known, on the X. We'll play that. It's only a couple minutes, like 3-4 minutes. Morning, Mario Cavazos. What's up, Midtown, Texas? Good morning. Good morning, Tony Ornelas.
Woo! Let's make this happen, baby. I'm sleepy. It's a very sad trumpet right there.
I don't know why the screen does that to us. I don't know what happened, Mike. Are we on screen?
This is not Marbach nice.
This is not Marbach nice. The scene doesn't want to change for some reason. All right, there we are. Now I got us.
Nice.
Yeah, there we are. There we are. Now
little technical difficulties.
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
Oh, nothing like a little bit of technical difficulties to start off a Thursday. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. This is the Alamo City Sportscast. Got you from the west side of San Antonio, West Bexar County. Also represented, it is game day, baby. If you're a Cowboys fan anyway. Cowboys taking on the New York Giants in New York tonight, 7:15 on Amazon Prime. The spread is on the move. It started at 4.5. It is now on the move. We'll get into that. Marcus Spears of the Cowboys, former Cowboy Marcus Spears, he sounded very, very, very upset this morning, talking on Get Up about the Cowboys, his former team, and what they have and haven't been doing. Fair or foul with what he has to say when it comes to it all. We're going to get into the UNLV quarterback. Did you hear about that, Joe?
I didn't hear about that, man.
UNLV quarterback. Imagine this. Imagine being 3-0 in college football, and deciding I'm done. I am taking off. And the reason why he's taking off is because of NIL money. He said that he was promised so much money, and they didn't pay up. So they're 3-0, right? They beat Houston. They beat Kansas. They beat Utah Tech. 3-0.
And he's done.
And he goes, F you guys, I'm out. You guys didn't pay me what you said you're going to pay me. Interesting story going on with that. We'll get into that conversation piece as well.
And if he does bow out, is he going to enter the transfer portal? What's going to happen with him? Is he just done for the season because he can't transfer to any other college?
Can't do anything this year.
Yeah.
But he called him out.
Wow.
He said he was actually brought in from the transfer portal. He goes, you pulled me from another school. You promised me $100,000. Where is it? Where is it?
Nowhere to be
We're
found.
3-0, not here. Boom.
Gone.
Mic drop. I'm out. Dude, that's a great story that we're going to get into. So I have a poll on Twitter right now asking the question to Cowboy fans, what's the temperature, man? Temperature check. Kickoff is tonight, 7:15. Are you very confident? Are you somewhat confident? A little bit worried? Very worried as a Cowboy fan. Cowboys 1-2. You asked the question a little while ago. We'll dive into it, Joe. Is this the season for Mike McCarthy? Does the season come undone if they go 1-3, especially if they lose to a Giants, a division rival, who's not considered to be as good as the Cowboys? We'll talk about that. Caitlin Clark, her season came to an end last night. A little bit of an issue going on with what happened with one of the spectators, so we'll talk about that as well. We'll dive into some pop culture, some nostalgia. Typically, we go to 11:30. Today, we're going to cut it about 15 minutes short, so we're going to go to about 11:15. Reason being, I have a flight at 1:10 p.m., Joe. Man. So doing the show tomorrow, I'm going to have to do the show on location.
On location somewhere.
Not going to be Conroe, Texas, because apparently I'm a single man now.
Oh, God.
Ooh, me and the girlfriend broke up. So
you get back together next week.
I don't think so. I think that the nail in the coffin was made last night when it came to it all. I'm fine. I'll be okay. But, not only send me referrals if you have people who want investments and insurances, but also you got a nice young, attractive lady. Let me know. Give me a prima, a sister, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure that out, right? No, man. Breakups are hard, man. They are hard. She's a great girl. Love her like crazy, but it just didn't seem to work out, man. Just is what it is. But I'm going to New Orleans, flying out at 1:10 Southwest Airlines. Going to be flying out because my daughter just, misses dad. We're going to go hang out, spend a few days together, just chill out. She's off on Fridays and Saturdays, so I'll get there on Thursday. And I'm flying into New Orleans, not Baton Rouge. It was cheaper for me to fly into New Orleans, and I had tickets. I had points to make that happen, so I'm excited about that.
That's always good.
Sam Selena saying the nail was her trying to get you to wear that Rocket shirt. That was brutal. But no, she's great. Francesca is a great girl. No regrets. And if it works out down the road, fantastic. But as of right now, not looking good.
Mario Cavazos, that was a rebound, just a stepping stone.
I don't know, man. That was I wouldn't call her a rebound. She was good. She could have been long term, dude. She really could have been. But sometimes things just don't work out.
Was not meant to be, man.
It wasn't. She's a really beautiful girl, dude. Really beautiful.
You know what? I'm going to give myself a shameless plug here.
Yeah.
As you do during the show as well. So I was just going to let the listeners know that, you know what? We went ahead and rebooted what used to be the Two Shots podcast, and now it's the Area 210 podcast. So if you guys can go and make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. It helps the show grow.
Nice.
Right now, I'm at 216 subscribers. I'd like to go ahead and push that up a little bit more. So if you boys can go and do me a favor and subscribe to the Area 210 podcast, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Very nice. Tony,
welcome to another episode.
Everything's going on. You know what it is?
Again.
It's not my fault this time. You know what it is?
What's that?
I think it's a glitch in the system here. I'm going to have to go ahead and take this computer apart over the weekend and fix it. It's got some things going on with it.
Matt Gomez is reaching out to us in our YouTube stream. You can be part of the show by leaving your comments on YouTube saying, "Stay sucio, my friend." Jesse A saying, "Mike the Rizzler is back on the prowl." Tony saying, "Sorry, Mike, there's more mermaids in the sea." Had never heard that phrase before.
Wow.
That's better than fish in the sea. It just is what it is, man. I'm not going to cry about it. It is what it is. If it works out in the future, great, because she's something that I'd like to revisit. Hopefully this will be something that maybe is a blip on the road, but it didn't feel like it, man. Sometimes there's some bad breakups and there's some good breakups. The good breakups where it's like we might get back together later on. Yesterday felt like a bad one. It felt like a bad one. And you know what? I'm not going to say it's all her fault.
Time heals all wounds, Mike.
I had a lot to do with it, man.
You got to give it some time, man.
D-bag Mike came out, man.
Yeah,
D-bag Mike. Dude. So we'll get into that a little bit. But again, my name is Mike Jimenez. It's Joe Garcia. I have a stuffy nose today, dude. What is in the air today?
A lot of stuff in the air. It's a lot of pollen. And not only that, but did you see all the butterflies?
F them butterflies.
The monarchs, the butterflies, the monarch, what is it, migration?
Yeah, they just get killed by car after car after car.
Mess up the car.
They need to get up about 10 feet up in the air. Why are they flying 3 feet above the ground, dashboard level. Why?
It happens like every
Windshield
so many
level.
years. I thought it looks nice, dude. I was in the backyard the other day, and I was there with the wife because she was wanting to water her plants, and I had to move some things around. And she's like, "Man, look at all these butterflies." And I'm like, "They weren't here. Like on Sunday, they weren't there, and then all of a sudden on Monday, they just showed up."
It's been a couple of days, but
Yeah.
here's the thing. It's beautiful if you're in your backyard. They're flying across your yard, right? But after they pass Petranco and get to 151 and 410,
All over the windshield.
they're all dead.
Windshield, front of the car. That's why everybody's going to be going to hit up the car wash this weekend because they got Monarch guts all over the place.
Oh, I know. And it's funny, whenever you go into the drive-through one and they start spraying you down beforehand,
Oh, yeah.
they're like, giving you an extra 10 or 15 seconds of that because they're all over the place. That gunk is not going to come out.
Yeah, and they use that big old brush. They do that over here at the Pirates Cove where I go right here.
Yeah.
It's just around the corner. And I give them a little bit of, some coin. I tip them.
Yeah.
And they're over there scrubbing the crap out of the front of the car, the back of the car. They tape the little wiper blade down, and all that kind of stuff. I like going in there, man. That Pirates Cove is where it's at,
Dude,
man.
I mean, the amount of competition for car washes these days is extreme.
Dude.
It used to be go to the Texaco, go to the Exxon. That's your car wash, right? And now all of these have popped up all over town. I mean, in my neighborhood alone, there's one like to my left, to my right, and forward. There's a big ass car wash. They're really good though. I like doing that. I want to say an apology to my good friend James Pledger. He caught a stray yesterday. And I want to leave it up to all of you guys, especially you, Joe, for crapping on me about it. And I thought it was funny. He did catch a stray.
He's catching strays on the show. I'm like, why are you coming at
A
Pledge?
single stray.
Coming out here calling out Pledge. I'm like, bro, Pledge ain't been. Pledge is like the nicest guy that I know, man.
He is.
Wouldn't hurt a fly, man.
He didn't deserve it.
You come out here.
He didn't
Come
deserve
on,
it.
man.
Okay, so for those who don't know, we were talking about slang because I used the word tight. I said something was tight
Or dope.
or dope or whatever. And I said it in all seriousness, partially because I think I'm Sudafed out, right? I've got gunk in my nose right now. And Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 was like, what about all these other words, that people use? And he was talking about all these other terms that kids use, teenagers, kids in the early
Bet.
20s. And he started saying bet,
Yeah.
right? Because that word was always, I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's been around for over a year. But I made reference to another line, which was no cap and cap. And I said, yeah, Pledger kept on saying that. And apparently he caught a stray because of the way that I said it.
No, you called him out for being old.
Well, I mean, I
Come
shouldn't
on,
have said
man.
it. I shouldn't have said it, right? I use certain phrases that young kids use every once in a while, right? But I shouldn't have caught a stray. That's my bad. I apologize.
But you know what? I did reach out to Pledge yesterday, and I just told him, Pledge, we miss you on the show, man. Said we'd like to get you back. He's going to try to make some time for us,
Yeah.
We'll get him on here shortly.
Oh yeah, he'll rag into me.
Oh, that's on him, dude. I'm not
Hey.
getting him on here to do that. I'm just bringing him on.
If there's anything good about my breakup, by the way, not that it's good of a breakup, but I will say this: she got me dressing better. My closet is nice.
Not
I got
Marbach
a bunch
nice.
of new clothes in there. It looks nice.
It's not Marbach nice.
So I'm taking a look right now at FanDuel, their TV station right now, talking about Caitlin Clark. The WNBA record she set was most assists in a single season, most points by a rookie, most triple doubles by a rookie, most 3-pointers made by a rookie. She set 5 records in total. She was a unanimous rookie of the year, and she should be. When it comes to MVP, not so much.
She put up some great numbers, for being her rookie season. And she did help the TV market, not just her, but Angel Reese, They've had the most viewership that they've had ever, putting a big spotlight on the WNBA, which is
Right.
great for business, You got these young players coming into the league now. But beyond that, she just had a great rookie season. But the one thing that everybody points out, because they have to have something to nitpick, oh, look at her turnover ratio. I'm like,
It's something,
but she's
dude.
still rookie of the year.
It's something. And it's going to be the one thing that's going to be her Achilles heel. It really is. You cannot be all the records that she took that we talked about, right? Most triple doubles, most 3-pointers made by a rookie, most points made by a rookie. All of that's great. She also broke the record for most turnovers by any player all time, and it wasn't even close. That's the Achilles heel, though, because at some point she needs to know how to protect the ball. She was like that at Iowa. That wasn't, she just made her way over to the WNBA, competition got better, and she couldn't have, she was being defended differently. No, she has always struggled with that. It's just a weird thing. It's like Serrano in Major League. Can crush at 500 feet, but can't hit a curveball. There's just that one thing about her that she cannot do. The Indiana Fever lost yesterday, 93-69, got knocked out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They got destroyed. There was a fan that was ejected.
Oh, God.
During the game.
I saw that, man. Apparently, the fan, some guy apparently,
it was
too,
a guy.
He had some words with Caitlin Clark, and she went and pointed him out, and he gone.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what he said.
It was not good if he got her riled up like that.
Okay, you should only be ejected from the game if you're sexist, if you're a racist, and that's basically it.
He could have said something
or
offensive.
if you call out something offensive,
yeah,
something super offensive.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We saw Russell Westbrook, for example, point out somebody, a fan, and the fan was like, "I didn't do anything wrong." So I'm not saying that Caitlin Clark is wrong, but it's just interesting how fans, how they can hear what's going on. And she pointed him out, and it was weird because the guy did not seem to be obnoxious. He was talking to them civilly, and they just escorted him out of the game. He paid probably thousands of dollars to be there. I mean, it's a playoff game. Caitlin Clark is a high ticket thing.
Yeah,
he's on the second row at the time.
Gone.
What a dumbass! Imagine who he was there with. Like if he was on a date or if he took a kid.
It's funny. I didn't see the date or anybody else leave. Just him.
Just him.
She probably, if he was with the date, she said, "Peace out."
All right, need you to take the show for 10 seconds. I'm gonna blow my nose.
Yeah, go ahead. So we're going to go ahead and be talking not only about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, but we have some NBA news that was a break in here before we came out on the show. And I saw this late yesterday, too. The news came out that the great Derrick Rose, man, calling it quits. Decided to retire after 15 seasons in the NBA, man.
Man, Derrick Rose is one of those biggest what-ifs in NBA history, along with like the Grant Hills of the world.
The injuries, man. If injuries hadn't happened to him, he was the youngest MVP in the league,
right?
Ever.
Derrick Rose, man, had some injuries his entire career, man. His rookie season, 17 points per game. He averaged 21 the year after that. So the first 3 seasons, he played 81 games, 78, then 81. And then check this out, dude. The next few seasons, he had a 39-game season, a 10, a 51. He later had a 25, later had a 50, a 15, 27, last year 24. The guy was just brittle, man.
Yeah, and look at Sam
so
Salinas. He goes, how relevant has Derrick Rose been the past couple of years, though? And that's true because, I mean, his injuries have had an impact on his game. But even though he had injury, he was still a player that they had around for insurance, a vet, come off the bench, maybe give him some minutes if somebody got injured. But he wasn't actually going to be that second option anymore.
His career stats, 723 games played. So you say 15 seasons? That's not a lot, man. That's averaging less than 50 a game, 50 a year.
Yeah, it was just the injuries.
Averaged 17.4 points per game, 5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds. He was a good player. He was a very good player. Made a lot of money, though. Made a lot of money.
Puro Pinche Sports here, man. Shout out to these guys. They do great work, man. Go and check out their podcast that they got going on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to them as well. We always like to give some love to fellow podcasters and content creators. Puro Pinche Sports is saying Derrick Rose's career is derailed by injuries. Sadly, and look at this is something you would say. Sadly, not a Hall of Famer. Maybe he is the Hall of, like you say, very good.
Hall of very good. I don't even think he's that, to be honest with you. He just didn't play enough, man. The question is, players like Kawhi Leonard, though. Kawhi Leonard is going to be a Hall of Famer. And a lot of Spurs fans just don't buy that. And I'm like, dude, he won a title.
They're not going to retire his jersey.
Well, no, they're not going to. But the fact of the matter is that Kawhi Leonard is a not only a Hall of Famer, looking at basketballreference.com, they have him as a 91% chance of making the Hall of Fame. I'm going to correct Basketball Reference. Kawhi Leonard never plays another game.
He's in
100% of the time, first ballot.
If it wasn't for him, though, give him his roses when he was here, the Spurs wouldn't have gotten that fifth championship.
No, not at all.
They needed Kawhi to step up during that run, and he did, and he brought the city a title. And now, if they were able to keep him, when he finally left and didn't want to play and all that, he went to Toronto and he won a chip. I think that would have been San Antonio's chip. That could have been the Spurs getting their sixth title. Things didn't work out.
Kawhi Leonard landing on Zaza Pachulia's foot.
That was it, dude.
That was it. It was Mother's Day. I'll never forget.
I know.
It was Mother's Day. I was at my sister Alice's house. We were watching the game. We were kicking Golden State's ass. We were going to steal home court advantage. Zaza sticks his foot out. And you know what? That was done on purpose.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That was done on purpose. But Kawhi Leonard, at the height of his powers, that being when he was with the Spurs and when he was with Toronto when they made that run, was a top 5 player in the NBA. We talked about the word dominant yesterday.
You were talking about Wemby.
About Wemby, right?
Yeah.
People got offended when I said that. They thought that I was talking crap about Wemby. I wasn't talking crap about Wemby. I was saying that in order to be a dominant player in the NBA, you need to be a top 3 or top 5 guy on both the offensive side of the board and the defensive side of the ball, right? Giannis is not dominant. Nikola Jokic is not dominant. They're really good players. They're MVP caliber.
Giannis is the Hall of Very Good?
No. Giannis is a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
But the word dominant is difficult to explain. It's like that one congressman years ago who says, I cannot describe pornography, but I know it when I see it. Right? I cannot describe something that's inappropriate, but I know it when I see it.
Look at this, JHNSB. Get him. He says, how is Jokic not dominant?
Okay, Jokic won 3 MVPs in 4 years. He's the best player in the league, but they're not changing things for him. They're not. And when he wins his MVPs, you always see Embiid go down with an injury. You see Giannis go down with an injury, right? He's the best player in basketball, but he's not dominant. They're not changing styles because of him. He's just a quirky player who's very good. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best big guys
of all time. Let's ask you the question then. Who is a dominant force right now in today's NBA?
There is none. There is none.
They just have superstars, no dominant players.
There are superstars. Jason Tatum is not dominant. Jaylen Brown's not dominant. We have very, very good players. Luka Doncic is a very good player, not dominant. Kawhi Leonard, I hadn't even thought about it. At his height of his powers, Kawhi was a top 5 player offensively and a top 5 player defensively.
Arguably the best two-way player in the NBA for a stretch.
For a stretch.
Yeah.
Is it Kawhi Leonard that was the last dominant player in the NBA? Because I would argue 2015, 2016, that time frame, Kawhi was so good. He was the best player in the NBA. You could say that it was also LeBron. But LeBron defers. LeBron likes to get the team involved. He doesn't ball hog. The alpha on the team was always Kawhi Leonard when he was rocking and rolling, when he was the best he ever was. So dominant to me right now, maybe it was Kawhi that was the last one. Look at him, 2-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 6-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA first team, 3-time All-NBA second team, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-NBA defense, 4-time All-NBA second team defense, All-NBA rookie first team, steals leader one season, made the NBA top 75, the NBA 75th anniversary team.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is a Hall of Famer, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And look at this. Sam Salinas says, so how many years of Kawhi's career have been true superstar years for him?
3.
He says it can't be more than 3 years. And how long has he been around?
Well, I mean, the whole longevity thing is irrelevant to me.
We got a good comment.
You have 2 Finals MVPs.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
We got a good comment coming in by Puro Pinche Sports. The dominant force in today's sports, the Kansas City Chiefs referees. No lies detected in that statement.
That's funny. That's funny. But no, Kawhi Leonard, man, has been in the league since 2011, so it's been 13 years.
It's been a while.
First round draft pick, number 15 overall. The Spurs traded to go get him from the Indiana Pacers. They traded George Hill and other draft capital for him. Kawhi played for the Spurs from 2011 to 2018, played one season with the Raptors, has been with the Clippers ever since, and has been stealing money for the better part of 3 years. On contract for the next 2 seasons at $50 million a pop. Brutal. Kawhi Leonard was dominant. I'm going to put that name on there.
Was Shaq a better player than Kawhi in his prime?
The rules were different, man.
Different times.
The rules were different. Shaq was dominant, though.
Yeah.
Before that, I would argue that the other dominant players, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, those were dominant players.
And what was David Robinson known for? His defense. And he was a gazelle in offense. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. Remember those commercials from Nike?
I'm going to make a list of dominant players in the NBA.
No.
And Tim Duncan, I guess you could say 03 to 05, was a dominant player where he was a top 5 offensive and defensive. That is my definition. Top 5, maybe even top 3 offense and defense.
And you should make a Hall of Very Good. These are players that were very good, but they're not going to make the Hall of Fame. I want to see who would be on your list.
Well, the one player that's like that line right there has always been Tom Chambers. Remember Tom Chambers, Phoenix Suns, Seattle Supersonics? Over 20,000 points scored. He's the only player in the NBA who has 20,000 points and is eligible for the Hall of Fame that is not in.
What about Kevin Johnson?
Okay, so we had a comment earlier about not long enough of a career. Kevin Johnson didn't have long enough of a career. He didn't have the accolades. He didn't have those, chips.
He was a good point guard.
He was very good, man.
And he played many years for the Suns.
I'm looking at Kevin Johnson's stats right now. First round draft pick in 87. He played up until 98. So he played 11 years.
Yeah.
Played with the Cavaliers for a couple of years. To play for the Suns thereafter. Just made 3 All-Star teams. 4-time All-NBA second team. Was the most improved player.
Hall of Very Good.
Is Hall of Very Good. He's a starting point guard in the Hall of Very Good. We'll come up with a starting lineup of the Hall of Very Good. LaMarcus Aldridge is a power forward. No, I think LaMarcus is going to get in, man. I think LaMarcus is going to get in at the last
LaMarcus Aldridge.
LaMarcus will be like 75. And they'll look at his stats and go, well, he did get 20,000 points.
I remember I think it was Michael Bartlett for the ticket 760.
Yeah.
When we used to do the Spurs Rewinders, with Chris Duell and all that.
Yeah.
And he used to say LaMarcus Aldridge when he was having a good game.
Yeah.
But when he had a bad game, Bartlett wasn't having it, dude. He was just like so upset. He didn't want to talk about LaMarcus. He didn't want nothing. He didn't want no part of the show.
That's funny, man. LaMarcus Aldridge, 7-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA second team, 3-time All-NBA third team, made the All-Rookie team. 20,558 career points. He passed 20,000.
Yeah.
Not a lot of players do that. 19.1 points per game average 8 assists per game. I can see the argument of keeping him in. I can see the argument of keeping him out. But
Hall of Very Good, Robert Horry.
Not even that, man. Robert Horry averaged single digits for his career, man.
Oh, look at this tenure analysis. I remember Rodman Dean, Tom Chambers, when Rodman played for the Spurs and lost in the playoffs.
Dude, do you know how many points? I mean, we talked about how 20,000 points should get you to the Hall of Fame. The fact that LeBron James has 40,000 points for his career is crazy.
Did you remember this? I remember this. Mario Cavazos put, who was the pendejo that called David Robinson the Little Mermaid because he said that was his favorite movie at the time?
Here is who LaMarcus Aldridge has scored more points than, by the way. LaMarcus Aldridge has 20,558 points for his career. Number 51 all time. So of all the players that have ever played in the NBA, number 51. Do you know number 50 is?
Who is it?
David Robinson. Number 50. The fact that the Admiral, the fact that the Admiral number 50 is number 50 on the list is funny. Here are the players that have made the Hall of Fame that have scored fewer points than LaMarcus Aldridge. Mitch Richmond, John Stockton, Bernard King, Walter Davis, Tony Parker, Bob Lanier, Gail Goodrich, Scottie Pippen, Isaiah Thomas, Bob McAdoo, Tracy McGrady, Calvin Murphy, Lenny Wilkins, Chris Mullins, Magic Johnson,
No Penny Hardaway.
Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Kevin McHale, Jack Sikma, Chris Bosch, Weber, Grant Hill. These are all players who have scored fewer points than LaMarcus Aldridge.
Nah.
Crazy, man.
Oh, look at this. We got a incoming $5 super chat from the Drew Show here.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is the Terrell Davis of the NBA. Very short periods of play, but the outliers on the extremes of the XY axis. Terrell Davis made the Hall of Fame. And that's what I was saying, because you can't tell the story of the NFL without Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis won those Super Bowls. You know, and he was the best. He was a great player for about a 6 or 7 year stretch. The same could also be said about Gale Sayers. The same could be said about Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, more than likely, but he was
very good.
He was excellent. He was Hall of Fame if he stayed. I respect Andrew Luck for saying, you know what, I've been getting hurt too much.
I'm out.
Brother
was ugly as sin, though, man. But damn.
Yeah. So speaking of out, I know it's Football Thursday and all that stuff, and we've completely flipped the script because you thought that we'd be talking about the Cowboys early on, right?
We're going to talk about it.
We will. But UNLV's quarterback, we have to have a conversation about. Okay, so they're 3-0.
Yeah.
They're living large right now. They're 3-0. And the quarterback, whose name is Matthew Sluka, says he's going to sit out the rest of the season because an assistant coach said, if you come to us and leave the school that you're at right now, we will pay you $100,000 in NIL money. Before last week's game, guess how much he had? Guess how much they paid him?
$0.
$0. Then they somehow scraped together $3,000, and he goes, "This is it? $3,000 after 3 games? Here's my playbook. Here's the football. I'm out."
But isn't that kind of a dumb move, though? Okay, you're not getting your money right now, but you're still in college, right? So you're working towards something, right? Are you working towards a degree or what have you?
Right.
What is that going to do, not only to your whole semester, but also your grade point average, if that means something to you?
They don't go there to go to
You're
school.
You're done.
I mean, the football players go there to play football.
I get that they're playing football, but at some point, I mean, wouldn't you want to take advantage? I mean, you got to have a backup.
The backup is he's 3-0 in college. So he is 6'3", 215 pounds. Plays quarterback it's not like he's been lighting it up. He has 6 touchdown passes.
He's all right.
I don't even think that, man. I just think that he got offended.
He's like that kid. I'm taking my basketball and I'm leaving.
Right.
You didn't pick me first.
And I think he's trying to keep some eligibility along the way.
That just tells me he's a quitter, man. I wouldn't want him on my team.
Well, dude, if you went to work, because it's a job for them. They're not going there to play a sport. When money is involved, Joe, it's a job. If I showed up to my job, if you showed up to your job and they said, okay, we're going to pay you X amount per hour, and then, Friday rolls around, you got no paycheck, and then the next Friday rolls around and it's like pennies on the dollar, you're not going to stay.
Oh, yeah.
It was this guy's job.
Let's just put it like this. We built different, man. If it's payday and I'm not getting paid, I'm getting paid somehow, some way. I'm not going home empty-handed.
Right.
I'm taking something.
Now, this is his career because I'm looking at it right now. He is a senior right now. That is also brought up by hand on a fist. He was in his last year of eligibility, but he was offered $100,000 to be the starting quarterback and to get paid $3,000. And then for him to say, hey, look, man, I haven't gotten my money. And for the organization, for the school to say, well, we didn't get it in writing. It wasn't official. That's just what we said. That has got to come back to haunt UNLV.
Look at Sith. He says, I could throw a semi-spiral. Can I get paid $100,000? Look at Puro Pinche Sports. Apparently, the assistant coach promised him the money, but the school said there was no agreement. Nothing ever signed. If that's the case, a kid dumb.
Well, here's the thing. UNLV running back Michael Allen announced on Twitter that he also would enter the transfer portal, that he's going to redshirt himself and get himself out of the season because guess why? Guess why running back Michael Allen wants out of UNLV? They didn't pay him what they said they were going to pay him. It was more than just the quarterback. It's also their running back.
Yeah, look at D-Lo. Joe going home with the copy machine. Damn right. I'm taking something. I'm going to go pawn that sucker. I'm getting my money somehow.
So, yeah, UNLV needs a new running back. It needs a new quarterback because they both gone. Now, the agent has come out and said, hey, this was what the promise was, but it, quote unquote, wasn't in writing, that it was the assistant coach just talking out of his ass.
Yeah.
That it wasn't approved by the NIL committee and all that stuff. But even still, if you're the quarterback, starting quarterback of a program like UNLV, which again is on the same level as a UTSA or a Texas State.
They're a known college.
They're a known college, running Rebels. To only get 3,000 after 3 games, and you're the starting quarterback of a program, it's wrong. It's wrong. So funny, man. So funny.
Let's go ahead and give some love right now to MCS General Contracting because we're going to have a short show today. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalk, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
Diamond hard concrete, that MCS General Contracting. You know what? Unlike UNLV, they actually deliver on their promises. They deliver, baby.
They do, man. I got to test. You know what? I'd be wearing my MCS General Concrete hat, construction hat right here.
Looks nice.
But today is all about those Puro Pinche Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. The spread is moving. When the spread first was announced earlier this week, it was 4 points. Your Dallas Cowboys were favored. Now it's 6 points. So the Vegas line is moving because the money is being bet on the Cowboys. Here's the thing. Cowboys coming off back-to-back losses. They lost to the Saints. They lost to the Ravens. The Giants look like a real football team this past weekend. They got a game. They beat the Cleveland Browns. Now they go into a short week. Typically, Joe, on a short week, the road team struggles. Typically,
yep.
But the Dallas Cowboys, and more than that, Dak Prescott owns the New York Giants. So I asked the question on Twitter, and you can vote at MJ Acquire Taste. Temperature check, Cowboy fans. How confident are you in your team tonight? Very confident, somewhat confident, a little worried, very worried. Right now, 36% saying very worried, 27% saying a little bit worried, only 14 saying very confident. Joe, if we had this conversation about 3 weeks ago and I said, hey, what's your confidence level on the Cowboys beating the Giants in week 4, week 4, you'd have been like, dude, you're going to kill the Giants. What's your confidence level going into this game, Joe?
Very confident. I was one of the 14 that put out there, very confident. And you know what? Look at what Sith Elias is saying right now in the chat. Rain is going to make a believer out of y'all. Puro pinche Cowboys a la verga. We're going to go and we're going to win this one tonight. But if the Cowboys don't win this game and they're down big at halftime, does Mike McCarthy get the axe at the half? Is he allowed to come back and coach? The other part of that is if they don't get rid of Mike McCarthy right at the half, he continues to coach throughout the entirety of the game. Cowboys get an ass beaten down. They get their ass beaten down again.
Well, I'm taking a look at Dak.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
Is this a must win for them?
It is a must win because it's the beginning of the end if it doesn't happen, man. They go 1-3. They're not making the playoffs at that point. I know there's a lot of season left to be played, but there's a lot of catch up because it seems more and more like you need to win that division in order to make the playoffs. It doesn't seem like a wild card team's going to come out of there. The Eagles beat the Saints, playing a little bit better, 2-1. The Commanders, Jaden Daniels, looking like a legit quarterback, like a really good quarterback, 2-1.
Looking like he might be worth the money they spent on him, huh?
Yeah, second pick overall. Dak Prescott, though, 12-2 in his lifetime against the New York Giants. Here's the thing. He has won every single game against the Giants since 2017. You can look at that and say to yourself, hey, man, that's 12 in a row. 12 in a row, that's a good sign. Or you can look at it and say the Giants are due against the Cowboys. Cowboys coming in with what? The worst running game in the NFL.
Probably one of the worst defenses that we've seen.
It's the third worst running game in the NFL, the number one worst defense against the run in the NFL. So let's take a look at the Giants.
Let's take a look, see what they have.
The Giants don't have a very big running back like a Derrick Henry type of thing, right? Devin Singletary is the starting running back. Devin Singletary, all 5'7" of him, all $180 of him is the running back.
Yeah, man.
So they have to get after him. Now, Devin Singletary is a dual threat. He can catch the ball very, very, very well. But he's not a bruising guy. He's not going to be that guy. So the Cowboys need to get him down early. The problem with the Cowboys, Joe, is that they give up so much yardage before before the running back is even touched. You know, Alvin Kamara had 130 yards the other day against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago before he was even touched by a Cowboy defender. They can bring Singletary down. It's just, are the holes going to be there? Is the defensive line going to be able to stand up to the Giants' offensive line? The Giants have a really good running wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. If you had to guess what college he went to, let's see, where did he go to school? Oh, yeah, he went to LSU. That's going to be the guy that they need to key in on defensively is Malik Neighbors. Key in on that Daniel Jones. So Daniel Jones, he could run, man. So
he can.
You know, Daniel Jones squeaks out, quarterback runs. Daniel Jones is going to get 50 yards rushing this game. It's going to happen. But my confidence level is this. I don't know. The Cowboys are that bad. And if the Cowboys go to 1-3, season over.
I'm going to pop here in the chat because I had started a poll as well.
Yeah.
Asking the questions. Who do the guys got tonight to win? Do they have Cowboys or do they have the Giants? And I got to say, I'm looking at the poll right now, Mike. I'm going to show this on screen.
Yeah.
They're saying 62% say the Cowboys are going to win over the Giants.
Well, look at this, man. This is a must-win game for the Cowboys. Joe, here's the rest of the schedule for the Cowboys. Next weekend, on the road against the Steelers. Steelers who are somehow undefeated. Home game against the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs coming to town. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jared Goff. Laporta. All those guys. Tough game. On the road against the Niners. On the road against the Falcons, who looked pretty good last week. Home game against the Eagles. Home game against the Texans. Then they've got a road game against the Commanders. There ain't one easy game. Out of those next 7 games, not one easy game. Guess what the easy game is? Tonight's game.
No.
If they don't get this game, they're 1-3. Dude, we'll be looking at a Thanksgiving team where it's like your 4-8 Dallas Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders. It's going to be bad, dude. It's going to be bad.
And
this is a must-win game.
Just because you asked, Sam Salinas, he says, let's ask the Magic 8 Ball. Well, let's ask the Magic 8 Ball. Let's see what she tells us. I'm putting that in the chat right now. Just ask the Magic 8 Ball. Will the Cowboys win tonight? Let's see what she says.
Let's see.
And we do got an excerpt that I wanted to play as well.
The Marcus Spears?
Yeah, man, that they went ahead and shared with us. I believe it was Tony Ornelas was sharing that with us over on the X, man. So we'll certainly go ahead and take a look. And let's see what the Magic 8 Ball says. Don't bet on it. Oh.
Ooh, that doesn't mean that they're going to lose. It just means don't bet on it. That could mean Cowboys win, but the Giants cover the spread. 6-point spread.
Yep. So, and then Streamlabs says, I don't know, Kappa. We didn't get a confident response from the Magic 8 Ball.
So Marcus Spears was on Get Up. Marcus Spears, former Dallas Cowboy, defensive end, Played for the Cowboys back in 2005 to 2012. Fantastic on Get Up. Was talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and he basically said exactly what you and I said the other day, Joe.
Yeah. So let's
Tony Ornelas was also talking about it as well, about whether or not the Cowboys are doing what it takes to field a Super Bowl contending team.
Yeah. So we'll play that little clip right now.
All right. This is ESPN's Get Up.
Yep.
Last 2 to 3 years and think that you've been in position with your work in free agency to put yourself over the top. I sit home sometimes on the sofa with my feet up and I listen to people say, well, the roster was good enough and the roster did this and they got to do this and they just got to. It's not. It hasn't been. And it's something that I've been screaming. Like 12 wins is great. But if we talking about a Super Bowl, I want somebody to go back the last 5 years and tell me what team has won the Super Bowl only through the draft. Just name one of them.
No, there hasn't been one.
So I can't, like every time you say that or somebody says that, I'm like, but the blueprint of winning a Super Bowl or making it to one has been to be aggressive in free agency. That's literally been the blueprint to get there.
There you go.
Okay, so first and foremost, I not only does Jerry Jones need to hear this, but so does Pop in the front office for the Spurs. You cannot draft your way into the Super Bowl. You cannot draft your way into the NBA Finals. Maybe the Warriors did that when they drafted Clay, Curry, and Draymond. But the fact of the matter is that you need to have a well-rounded team. You need to draft well. You need to develop those players. You need to bring in some quality free agents, and you need to pull off some trades to make it all happen. It is various sources of talent that you need to get from, right? Marcus Spears is right. The Cowboys do a decent job of drafting. They drafted CeeDee Lamb. They drafted Micah Parsons. They got in the 4th round Dak Prescott. The Cowboys have done a good job drafting. The problem is that that's all that they do. They haven't had any prize free agents since what? Terrell Owens? I can't think of the last prize free agent that they had. Amari Cooper?
And they let him go.
They let him go because they want to pay him $20.
Yeah.
Right?
He's out there with the Browns now.
So the Cowboys do enough to field a playoff team, but they don't fix the team enough. They don't mold that team enough to make a Super Bowl run.
And you know why? Because Jerry Jones don't give a damn about Cowboy fans. All he cares about is lining those pockets with that
selling
cash.
T-shirts, baby.
Because he's told the Cowboy fan for the last 28 years, sold them on a lie, all of us. And he says, this is going to be our year. He puts that in their heads. Hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and build a new stadium. If I build it, you all will come. I'm going to act like I'm going to do something, but I'm really not. I'm always going to be on the fringe, on the outside looking in, because you know why? He doesn't want this franchise to win, because he wants Cowboy fan to keep buying those tickets, going to the games, buying all the merch and everything. He doesn't care about winning.
What does he seem to be talking about? He talks about ratings. He talks about
TV
sales,
deals,
TV deals, and he talks about the dick size of some of his players. That is literally all you hear from Jerry Jones.
What did you say? The thick six?
Daniel Jones, last 2 weeks, though. Last 2 weeks for Daniel Jones. 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He's looking all right.
Jeez, man.
He's looking all right. Devin Singletary going to be the running back. Is Devin Singletary somebody that scares you? Devin Singletary, 5'7", 200 pounds. But look at this. Look at how many yards he has for the year. Nearly 200 for the year. That's more than the Cowboys team combined. Last game, he had 65 yards, 1 touchdown. Game before that, he had 95 yards against the Commanders. With a
Everybody's giving you crap here. They said the Spurs won their way, drafted their way to 5 chips.
What? Tim, Tony, and Manu, right? But the problem is that they weren't the only ones there, dude. Did they draft everybody else? Robert Ory was not drafted by the Spurs. Speedy Claxton was not drafted by the Spurs. Spurs don't get, the 99 chip. There was a lot of talent there that brought it over the top. That was the thing.
And we got another $2 super chat here incoming from the Drew Show. Thank you very much for that. We do appreciate you, Drew. And he says, BS, KC, Kansas City has lost players to free agency more so than they bought in.
Well, KC has Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid calling the plays, and they have Chris Jones on defense. So, I mean, you can get away with a lot when you've got that.
And look at Sam Salinas, 10.2 billion reasons for him not to care, and too many fans who keep buying the history. Exactly,
Right.
man. Right now, Cowboy fans are just buying into the old history, the old adage of, hey, we won championships, or we won our Super Bowls way back in the 90s, and we had Troy Aikman and, Michael Irvin, and what?
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith. I mean, nowadays, that doesn't matter anymore. And the last 28 years, what have this Cowboys team done? Been nothing but disappointment, and I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I'm always going to be, but I've earned the right to criticize my own team.
But the Cowboys have too many players on their roster that they picked on their own. That's the problem. They feel like they can just draft their way into the Super Bowl. And Marcus Spears is saying that absolutely correct. Marcus Spears, by the way, LSU grad himself, goes out there and is saying, no, you need to bring in some talent. The Cowboys did not bring in Derrick Henry. Who did they bring in? Zeke Elliott. They drafted Zeke Elliott from Ohio State years ago. They brought him back. They could have gotten Derrick freaking Henry.
Nah, Jerry don't want to win, man.
So
Cowboy fan needs to realize that Jerry doesn't care about winning. Jerry cares about making money. There's a
Right.
difference there. Big difference.
Daniel Jones going to go off for 50 yards rushing. I'm going to call it. He'll have 50 yards rushing. He'll rush for a touchdown. He'll throw for 2. I'm going to call it the Giants going to win tonight. 27 to, let's see, Brandon Aubrey's going to have 5 field goals. 27-22. Joe, give me a score.
Cowboys over the Giants. I got the Cowboys 21-14, man.
Low scoring game.
Low scoring game.
Low scoring game. Let's give some love to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5, who's been with us since day one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give Jeff some love here. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at JeffG10s5SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at JeffGSpursZone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow, not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@LockedOnSpurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
So interesting story on Kens5.com by Jeff Garcia. You can go on to Twitter at JeffGSpursZone. And we're going to get to the super chats in a second. Thank you so much, Tex-Mex Frank and Drew Show. We'll get to it in a quick second here. The vice president of basketball operations for the Chicago Bulls says that they're going to try to win every single game this year. That would be a good thing for the Spurs, because the Spurs have a number 1 draft pick this year for the Chicago Bulls that is going to convey if it falls outside of the top 10. So the Bulls need to win some games. So right now the Spurs have their own first-round draft pick. We have Atlanta's unprotected first-round draft pick. We have Chicago's top 10 protected, and we have Charlotte's top 14. That Charlotte pick is never going to happen. It'll never be a first-rounder. It's going to convey as 2 second-rounders in the future. The Chicago pick could convey this year or next year. This is going to be a very, very strong draft, and if the Bulls are really out there trying to win games, this is a good thing for the Spurs, because if the Spurs pick at 15 or 17 with this pick, that is normally a top 10 type talent, because this is going to be a very, very, very good draft. Again, go to Locked On Spurs. I subscribe on Spotify and on YouTube as well. More than 5,000 subscribers to that show. And it's daily content of your silver and black. And whenever he does talk, he doesn't have a stuffy nose like I do right now. Do I sound bad, Joe?
Nah, you sound like a little stuffy, but yeah, all right.
Am I all right?
Yeah, all right.
All right. Cool.
Hey, man, we got an incoming super chat here from Tex-Mex Frank, man.
What you got?
So let's go ahead and show it on here.
Says Dallas Cowboys, let's go. Let's get a win, Grito. Oh, he wants a Grito for the win.
He wants a Grito.
This might be superstitious.
Hey, but he's paying. We're gonna do it.
Let's do it.
Presumir a mis amigos les conté que en el amor.
Did that get longer?
No, it's always been that long, G. It's a thick 6.
It's a thick 6. So I saw
Damn,
I posted this on Twitter yesterday, the rankings of quarterbacks according to Dan Pizzuta of the 33rd team. Listed all the quarterbacks in order. Number 1, he has Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Matthew Stafford. Number 5, Dak Prescott. Do you really believe Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback right now?
They're top 5, damn right. He's leading the pack in passing yards right now.
Yeah, all of them junk in the fourth quarter when they're down by
You know
3
what?
scores.
Everybody's always, they give Dak a lot of crap, and myself included. But at the end of the day, when are we going to start looking at the other part of the Cowboys team as a whole? It's
The
not
defense
Dak.
sucks.
It's not Dak that has the problems. It's the rest of the team as well.
Well, the defensive line is trash.
Garbage, dude.
But 6 points in 3 quarters. That's what Dak did, leading that offense. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Cedarius DeLeon, Lamb.
Yeah, I'm saying, but
coming out and saying, I have not been playing great. I've been playing good, but not great.
He hasn't been playing up to the paycheck that he's getting.
Right.
It's been much to be desired. But we also have an incoming $5 super chat from the Drew Show. So I thank you, Drew. We appreciate the support here. Drew says, Joe and you and Jerry and all the Cowboy fans could have walked away from Dak. Nothing but FOMO made you all balk and give that man $250 million. It wasn't me. That's Jerry's billing.
Yeah.
I had gone on record to say I think it was time for the Cowboys to walk away from Dak because I was thinking that it was time to rebuild the whole damn thing.
Yeah, fear of missing out is what FOMO stands for. The thing about it is that you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You pay him the money, he doesn't win. Well, why did you pay him the money? You don't pay him the money, and you have Trey Lance as the starting quarterback. You're going to go 3-14. And you're sitting there with Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb on a 3-14 team. And then you have to bet that a quarterback that you're going to get is going to lead you to the promised land. That's an interesting debate. If the wheels fall off, Joe, imagine the wheels falling off for the Cowboys, and they go 3-14, 5-12, or 7-10. They have a top 12 pick, and they pick a guard, or they pick a tackle, or they pick a defensive lineman. People are going to lose their minds, dude. But they've dedicated themselves to Dak. 4 years, baby. It's like a presidential campaign. 4 more years. 4 more years. We're gonna have Dak, dude. The career path of Dak Prescott and Tony Romo. That is 25 years of stat padding with no wins.
Junk stats. Junk stats. Well, you know what we got to do too? Because the show's got 15 minutes left here.
Yeah.
Got to give you some love.
Oh, that's right. 210-508-0369. If you want to show me some love, give me a different photo.
No.
210-508-0369. This week I was fortunate enough to invest more than $1 million for a client this week. My business is doing pretty well. I do investments. I do insurances. A lot of retirement accounts. A lot of people have like old 401ks hanging out. Got to consolidate them. They've left their job. They've left the military. They've left their civil service job. I bring them all together. I put them all together, and I give them a strategy as to where they should invest. I'm independent. I'm a fiduciary. Everything I say and do needs to be in the client's best interest at all times. I've been in the business for 19 years, but I started my new practice back during COVID in 2021. Since then, I've gathered $15 million in assets of people who, somebody's 5,000, somebody's million, somebody's 300,000. Add it all up, it's 15 million.
Yeah.
And they've been getting some pretty good returns. I have a pretty good suite of products that I offer people and strategies that are different. Guess what? I do my strategies like a football field. Like really, I talk to guys about sports and I show them how it works on a football field to help them understand what I'm doing when I'm investing their money for them. It's very cool. 210-508-0369. Life insurance, long-term care, disability as well. Give me a call. 210-508-0369. Very, very cool. So this Friday, tomorrow, we're going to have Johnny Walker, former Longhorn great, former Holmes High School star, is going to be with us talking about the upcoming NFL season, the upcoming NFL week, rather. But my allergies are really starting to flare up, man, so I apologize for that. Week 4 of the NFL, we're going to talk about the Cowboys taking on Mississippi State, the first SEC game ever. But I understand, Joe, that we have some high school football that we're going to be talking about as well.
Yeah, so we got some high school football talk to be talking about here. Recorded a segment, full disclosure here, with one of our friends of the show here. His name is Brandon Holland, also known as B. Damone. He is the host of the Along the Wire podcast, and he's covering nothing but high school sports here in San Antonio, specifically football. So he's going to give us the lowdown of some games we got to keep an eye on for this coming week. Hey, this is Joe with the Alamo City Sportscast, and we're bringing you our weekly high school football update with the one and only B. Damone from Along the Wire. So, Brandon, why don't you let us know what's cooking for this week? What matchups or what are we looking at as far as the marquee games of the week?
Man, the marquee games of this week are all big boys. So it's 5A, 6A, right? Man, there's some storylines behind this, and there's some playoff and some district standing possibilities with the how they're going to win district, right? So the first game I'm going to talk about is Smith and Valley versus Piper. This, I'm tapping in with the coaches right now. They're getting back to me as we're recording this. This is a big matchup. This is a school that Piper was built and takes kids from Smith and Valley. So this kind of like breaks it up. You know how like when there's Judson, then there's Wagner, now you got Vet. So this is that same type of rivalry that's going to be going on. It's going down Friday night at the Piper's home field. Piper's undefeated. I have them as my top 5A school. Smith and Valley is my number 3 ranked 5A school in the city. So these are kids who have been playing together. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I know the Piper crowd shows out. It's going to be Coach Hill versus Coach Rogers, new offense versus a multi-faced offense that changes from week to week in Smith and Valley. So it's going to be exciting. This is going to be the best game of the week in San Antonio, and it's got great district implications because whoever wins this game is going to have the tiebreaker. And, looking at these schedules, man, this is an important game because if you win this, you have the tiebreaker, and you're likely favored to win the rest of your district games.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is I even saw this on the news. These kids have grown up together. They've been going at it since they've been like kindergarten, and now they're over here in the high school level, and they're ready to go against their friends, and they're like, hey, when we grew up with them, they're our buddies and all, but when we get on that field, each team wants to win.
And the mentality is great because when I was at the first game of the year at Piper, you had some kids on the sideline who go to Smith and Valley who were talking about they're ready to play Piper. They just happen to be there for some reason, right? So I love seeing that part of the high school game where you go in the stands and you see kids from other schools who are out scouting because they either played the day before or they play the day after. So these schools have had their eyes on each other since the schedule came out. And I know it's going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah, man. So what else? What other game are we going to be looking out for this week that could have some implications further on, during the playoffs?
I'm going to go with one that might not be so hot to the eye or like catch your eye, but Judson versus East Central. Judson is 1-3 versus East Central, who's 3-1. But mind you, East Central lost their first game of the season. Then they've won 3 in a row. Judson's 1-3. All 3 of those losses are by 6 points or less. So they've been in these games. Now, these two programs coming together, Coach Soto versus Coach Hub. You got 2 schools. One, Judson, we know the history. East Central's been up and down. Now they're on the come up. They've got some really great talent. Can they put that together and overcome Judson? They've had some historical games some last-second games in recent history. So this is another one. This is one that, people might not be thinking of East Central as much, but they're the hotter team coming into this one. But then Judson's been in these dogfight games, so you're going to get two teams that have been competing and have been in all sorts of games. One's record looks better than the other, but you can't be deceived by that 1-3 Judson record because those kids are learning and growing, and they've had some tough competition in those games. So you don't want to necessarily overlook those teams this early who have a losing record, because we all know the athletes that Judson has. And if they wake up versus East Central, then, that can shake up the district. Definitely shake up the district.
There you go. You got your two marquee games of the week to keep your eye out on right now. And also, B. Damone, why don't you let us know what you got cooking on along the wire for this coming week? You're going to be giving us your top 10s. What's going on?
Hey, we got the top 15 list that just came out. I'm staying on top of that, knocking that out every Sunday. We got to get back to the pick'ems. I had a very good week on my pick'ems.
Coach Gomez sent me
the show, huh?
Coach Gomez sent me his pick'ems, man. But you know how we go. We say, "Oh, Brandon's been looking at mine, so we got to send you. You all send me your pick'ems separately."
Hey, I'm getting better at doing them and just sending them to you. I'm doing them and I'm getting rid of them.
Oh, man.
But actually, so we got to get back to the pick'em segments, and I'm doing some articles for Rivals as well on some kids early this season who have been, popping out. So, me and Coach Gomez are definitely going to be talking about kids that are on the scene here in San Antonio who are doing their thing and might be flying under the radar, and, get them some love too.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and follow B. Damone, or as it says right here on the X, at B. Damone. And you can also follow Coach Gomez at STX7V7. And you can catch them when they go ahead and record their episodes of Along the Wire every week. And you can go and look for that on their YouTube channel. So thanks again, B. Damone, man. We appreciate you for coming on and doing your weekly high school football segment. Make sure you give them a follow and subscribe.
Yeah, taking a look right now. Thank you so much for that, by the way, Joe.
Yeah.
Taking a look right now, according to Max Preps, they have Steele High School as the number 1 team in the city.
Yep.
And the Brennan Bears number 2.
Yeah, man. So some good matchups coming up, man. And these games, as you start getting further and further in the season, they have implications moving forward into the playoffs as far as positioning and whatnot. So every game is very important to these teams moving forward.
Yep, getting into district play, man. Big time.
Exactly.
Big time. I'm looking at an article right now on TMZ right now about that Shohei Ohtani ball. That 50-50 ball. There's now a new lawsuit involving a teenager. So I want to play that video again real fast in a second. But there is the question was, how much is this ball worth? They originally said about $300,000 or so.
Yeah, they offered the person who caught the ball $300,000.
Right. So there's an auction house that has a starting bid of $500,000. Again, Shohei Ohtani becoming the first player in Major League Baseball history to have 50 homers, 50 stolen bases in a season. The day that he did it, he had 3 homers, he had 2 doubles, he had a 10 RBI in that game, multiple stolen bases in that game as well. So there's an 18-year-old named Max Mattis who says, "I have the ball, but because I got tackled, someone else took it. And a guy named Chris Belansky ultimately got the ball." So let's take a look at that, man. Let's see. Did that actually happen? So this is courtesy of Major League Baseball. The scrum. So there's an 18-year-old who says, "I have the ball." Let's see here. Let's see if they have it. The scrum. Historic day there. That was his 50th homer of the season. But there's angles here where they show the scrum. But what do you think about the 18-year-old who's suing, saying, "Hey, I should get a piece of that action"?
It's too bad, man. He didn't catch the ball. You got outbid, basically. Somebody out hustled you. I know you're a kid and all, but if you want it, you got to get it. You got to put it in your hands and you got to run with it. As soon as I catch that ball, I'm gone, dude.
Oh, here it is.
I know it's going to be worth money.
Here it is. Here's the scrum for the ball. So the teenager who says, "I have the ball."
Well, if you had the ball, you would have got the ball. It's like that saying that they have in business too, Mike. Just because you have an idea doesn't mean it belongs to you.
Okay, so that the kid in the orange, I guess, is the one suing.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Does he have it? Does he have it?
At what point did he have the ball? It fell on the ground. If it falls on the ground, it's up for
I
grabs.
don't know. I think that guy in the black has it, man. He's covered up all over it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no, dude. That kid didn't have it, dude.
He touched it, maybe.
He touched it. Woo. Yeah,
That's
he
about
ain't
it.
gonna win anything, dude.
Yeah.
We got a super chat coming
Super
in.
chat incoming from Drew Show. He says, in one breath, you and the fat guy on TV chirp free agent. The other breath, you say you had to pay Dak $250 million. Gets you a lot of FA free agents. He
Yeah.
says, ergo, let Dak walk.
Well, the thing is that there's no such thing as a stud free agent quarterback. They don't exist. When was the last time we had that? That was the whole debate about whether Dak Prescott was going to go the entire season and enter the free agency market on his own without having the ability to be franchise tagged. That doesn't happen. Patrick Mahomes will never be a free agent. Joe Burrow will never be a free agent. Josh Allen will never be a free agent. It doesn't happen. It only happens to mediocre quarterbacks like Derek Carr, Joe. You want a Derek Carr talent? He's all right.
It's all right.
Those are the quarterbacks who become free agents. Kirk Cousins becomes a free agent. Derek Carr becomes a free agent.
And look at
That's the level. Baker Mayfield becomes a free agent. That's the level of quarterback play that gets you in free agency.
And this was the other $5 super chat that we had incoming from the Drew Show. This one's for you, Mike.
Appreciate it, Drew.
Go ahead.
It says $250 million could plug up an offensive defensive line and a banger first round quarterback on a rookie deal. Let Dak walk. FOMO, Jerry Balking fans blew it. Okay, so I get that. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. You want to have CJ Stroud. You want to have back in the day Andrew Luck. You want to have now Jaden Daniels. You want to have the rookie on a rookie deal so that you can plug in the holes everywhere else. That's what you want. The problem is that for every Jaden Daniels, there is a Bryce Young. You know, there's a flop along the way. Not all first round picks who are quarterbacks. What out of the 6 or 7 that get drafted every year in the first round, the 5 or 6, what, only 2 make it? We're looking at Caleb Williams. They've given everything to Caleb Williams, and he's struggling. He's not playing bad, but he's struggling. Look how long it took Sam Darnold to make it. Trey Lance was a top 3 pick in the draft. Where's he doing? He's third stringer for the Cowboys. Getting a first-round draft pick doesn't necessarily mean a top 5 pick or a top 10 pick on a quarterback. Doesn't mean that they're going to be any good. J.J. McCarthy, dude, he got hurt. He's probably lost his job to Sam Darnold. So many quarterbacks that get drafted early on that don't amount to crap.
Yeah.
The Cowboys looked at
Injuries.
Dak Prescott and said, at least we know what we got in him. Because Jerry wants to be relevant. Jerry Jones does not want to be 4-13. That's the problem. Joe, I got to hit the road, dude. I got to go on to the San Antonio International Airport. Get one of the last flights out of Southwest because Southwest is having an issue with the city and with the
Jeez.
airport. I'm going to go visit my daughter in Baton Rouge. Going to fly into New Orleans. Flight takes off at 1:10. We're 2 hours away. I got to take off. But tomorrow we're going to have Johnny Walker, Longhorn great, Holmes Husky great, talking about college football, talking about the NFL season at hand. We're going to have him talk about the Cowboys. Did they win or lose? I have the Giants winning tonight. Joe has the Cowboys winning. We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm Mike. That's Joe. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll be back tomorrow.